Hey everyone, long time no see. I hope you're all doing well. I am certainly doing wonderfully these days. So, about a month ago, I moved from BC to Saskatchewan, which is two provinces away. And it's my first time moving out away from home, away from my parents. And the reason why I came here is because a friend of mine, Johan, he invited me here to live with him for a year. He was also moving from BC to Saskatchewan for longer than 1 year, but he just proposed like, hey, why don't you just come stay with me for a year and then we can do some stuff. And I'll get into that in a little bit. So, why was I so willing to move away from where essentially my entire network is? Away from where my family and all of my friends are. And it's because Johan made a very interesting proposal. And in order to get into that, I have to give you a little bit more context first. So, every single week, every single Sunday at 9 a.m., I have these weekly calls with a couple of friends of mine. And essentially what we do in these calls is we just kind of talk about our goals and we talk about whether or not we achieved last week's goals. If we did, then we'll give ourselves pats on the back and we'll celebrate our wins. If we didn't, then we'll kind of discuss why that was and give constructive criticism. Additionally, anything new we learned that week that we found to be pretty interesting that has to do with like self-improvement and like personal development, we'll share with the group as well. So just as an example, let's say I was reading up about sleep and how to get better sleep and the importance of sleep. Then in these calls is when I would share it with everyone, and then they'll share new ideas with me, and it's just a really cool way of keeping in touch because the whole point of these calls is to actively push each other to grow. We've had these calls for about 2 years now, and I have definitely gotten a lot of new wisdom and especially support from these friends, and I've definitely grown a lot as a result of it. So, Johan, he's part of these calls, and he said to me, okay, well, we have these amazing friends that we can depend on to push us to grow and to influence us in positive ways once a week. If you moved in with me, we would be accountability partners every single moment of every day. We would be living under the same roof, and we could push each other to grow every single day. And that is what caught my attention. So the reason why I said yes is because this idea of having someone hold me accountable it just seems so powerful. Having someone to keep me in check and me keeping that person in check. It just seems like such an amazing way to rapidly develop my positive habits and my positive behaviors. And guess what? That is exactly what happened. Like I said, it's only been a month, but I feel like all of my habits and behavior has taken a significant leap up. The point that I'm currently at, I always knew that I would eventually get to this point. I didn't expect me to get to this point 1 month in. The progress has been staggering. So, we currently live a very regimented lifestyle. We essentially planned out what we think is the absolute perfect day. If we followed this routine 100%, it would result in a day that we would consider perfect. And off the top of my head, I can't list every single thing out for you right now, but just as an example, every single day, some of the things that we do are like meditate, read, gratitude journal, exercise. We'll wake up and go to bed at the same time. We have designated blocks for when we eat and designated blocks for when we work on our business, etc., etc. And because we can't really slack off on our own because the other person's routine is very tightly intertwined with each other's, most of the time when we're doing something, we're doing it together. So I can't just like slack off and not work out because he's gonna be working out and he's gonna chew me out if I'm not there as well. And because of that, only one person really needs to be like on top of things at any given time because it's very unlikely that both of us will fall off the wagon at the same time. So as long as one person is disciplined enough, we can drag the other person to come along and do it with us. And because of that, we really haven't fallen off at all. This whole month, we've just been on top of our shit day in and day out. And as a result, I've grown significantly as a person. Almost all of my habits just took a great step up. And in addition to that, we've also made an effort to radically reduce easy pleasures and distractions and whatnot. So I used to spend a lot of time on YouTube and like other social medias. I almost never do that anymore. And here is the reason. We've implemented a really cool penalty system where essentially, if the other person catches you doing something that's not productive, as in, let's say for example, I'm on Reddit and I'm just looking up the Toronto Raptors subreddit, just checking out like what Scotty Barnes is doing, and then Johan catches me doing that, he gets to shoot me with an airsoft gun. And that shit hurts. Once you've been shot a couple of times, you'll realize I don't want to be shot again. And because of that, because there's this such a real, tangible, visceral penalty to this behavior, essentially both of us have almost completely tuned out all of the bad things we have for us. So, as a result, because we've limited the easy dopamines, essentially what easy dopamines are is stuff like, let's say YouTube, right? For YouTube, all I would have to do is sit down in this chair, do nothing, watch the video, and I would get enjoyment out of it. Zero effort for like so much pleasure. Now that we've cut that out, the only ways for us to find pleasure is in doing things that are inherently fulfilling, such as working, or like meditating, or reading, stuff that actually helps us progress forwards. So, because now we've improved all of our habits and we've cut out distractions, essentially all we do all day in order to feel good is do positive, productive, hard work. It's really indescribable how fulfilling and how proud I am of myself and of him these days. It's a really amazing feeling. And one additional cool side effect that came along with it is because I don't have these high stimulation, easy, low effort activities in my life anymore, essentially my dopamine tolerance has lowered back down to a baseline, and things that I used to find not as pleasurable all of a sudden becomes much more pleasurable. And one example is keeping in touch with family and friends. I feel like before I moved here, I didn't realize how much I was actually gonna miss them. But now that I'm here and I'm not able to just see them whenever I want now, there's a feeling of longing. And because of that, I've been reaching out to them more. I speak to my family more. I speak to my friends about the same amount, honestly. But occasionally I'll get messages from friends saying they miss me, or how things are different without me around, or that they wish that I was there with them. Getting these messages of appreciation just makes me appreciate my friendships so much more. It's strange to think about, but I almost feel like my relationship with some of my closest friends have deepened after I've moved away. And for that, I'm very grateful. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for today. Yeah, I hope anyone who's watching this is well, and I wish you guys all of the best. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.